Hello, good afternoon from this side of the world. Welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi Onwucholoba. We're here once again to hold you by the hand, to help you, to guide you, to assist you in this journey of growth. So who is here with me this afternoon? I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited today. We have quite a lot to talk about today. And I'm glad for this opportunity once again to share with us, to go on this journey with us, to do this together. So who is here with me this afternoon? Who is ready to go? Who is ready to move? Who is ready to journey? Who is ready? Who is ready? Wow. It's a beautiful, as I look outside just now, it's a beautiful, clear afternoon here in the city of Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. Beautiful, clear afternoon. Where are you joining me from this afternoon? Is it morning where you are? Is it evening where you are? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I welcome each and every one of us that is here this day. Even the people that will join us later on, that would watch on the replay, I welcome you. Please, as you join, just let me know where you are joining me from, so that I will greet you, say hello, say hi, and all that. So welcome all once again to Growth Habits. This is a series that we are doing in this month of February, every Tuesday and every Thursday in the month of February. We are here to journey together. We are here to learn together. We are here to, figure it out together. Because, you see, in this journey, nobody should have to do the journey alone. Nobody should have to go by themselves. Oh, welcome to me. It's nice to have you this afternoon. So like I was saying, it is always good to have a companion, to have someone that goes on a journey with you, to have someone that holds your hand, to have someone that maybe has been where you're trying to go. So it's always good. Welcome, Kelechi. Nice to have you. It's always good. Let me repeat, it's always good to journey with someone. Have you ever gone? I'm not saying anything is wrong with going alone. Sometimes you do actually need to go it alone. Good afternoon, Kelechi. Welcome. But see, sometimes you just need somebody to hold your hand. You just need somebody to, feel with you, to walk with you. Best if the person has been where you're trying to go. It is just the best, because that person can now show you where the difficulties are, can show you where there is a hitch on the road and things like that. So welcome once again to Growth Habits with Ngozi Onwucholoba. I'm your personal guide in this journey of growth. As we go along, I will help you. I will show you the way, yes, the way that I've been, and I will bring on other people that will share with you their own journeys of growth, and will share with you the things that they have found out, the things they have discovered. But for this month of February, it's me. You will get me and me fully, completely, totally. So welcome once again to Growth Habits. Good afternoon, good morning, where you are is morning, good evening if where you are it's evening, or where you'll be watching from the replay. We started this journey some weeks back, and in the first session we just basically did an introduction of growth. What is growth? And we came to agree that growth is a process. It doesn't just happen once. Is a process, is a commitment, is a daily habit, is something you have to keep at. You don't do it once and then you stop and say, I have grown. So, and in the second session, we discussed about the mindset that is needed to grow. And we agreed that we need to have a mindset that is ready to try new things, ready to change, ready to be teachable, basically. Basically, that was what we came to conclude in our second session, because without the right mindset, there is no growth that is going to happen. Yeah, because if you have a fixed mindset, you can't, even if you're growing, you don't see it, you don't notice it. So that was what we discussed during our second session. And you can see that there's a progression to this. We're not just jumping from here to there. We're taking it step by step and trying to do it in a way that makes sense to each and every one of us. So we agreed, like I said, that you have to have the right mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, I really don't know how you can really grow. You really cannot grow. Oh, welcome, Mike. Nice to have you with me. Welcome, Florence, Ngozi Kingdom. I'm so glad that you're here today. I'm so glad that you're here. You're welcome. So, and like I said, it's been a process. It's been a process. We agreed that today, if you noticed the topic today, we're going to talk about measuring growth, because in one of the sessions we talked about measuring growth, and people asked, I think several people asked me the question, is growth measurable? Of course, growth is measurable. So today we'll try and talk about some of the ways that we can measure growth. In our third session, we talked about habits, the daily habits that we can form that will help us to grow. And we agreed that there is no, one set habit that fits all. It's not a one size fits all. It's not, you can't just, maybe if I list some habits that are known to help people grow, you cannot implement all, because you need to understand you and understand the habits that will work for you. That was what we spoke about in our on our third session, and our fourth session, which was on Tuesday. Yes, our fourth session was on Tuesday. We talked about our circle of friends, being able to choose our circle of friends in the process of growth, because the first, or let's say the closest 5 people to you truly determine how far you can go. They have a good influence on how far you can go. They have a good influence on what you can achieve and what you cannot achieve. So I've tried to do a quick recap of what we have done in the past 4 sessions for us, in case maybe we are not here, we have not been following. But if you have been following us from day one, please let me know in the comment section that I've been following from the very first session. And if possible, if there's anything that's still stuck with you up till now, please do mention it in the comment section. And I remember that, I can't remember whether it's the second session or so, but I recommended some books, 2 books for us to possibly read. I wonder if anybody has read those books. I wonder if we bother to even search for the books, to look out for them. But in my how do I put it? Am I wanting to help? Yes, am I wanting to help you on your journey of growth? If you would like to have e-copies of those 2 books I mentioned, Failing Forward and Everything is Figure Outable, please send me a message, either here on Facebook. If you happen to have my number, you can send me a WhatsApp message and I will try to get those books to you. You truly need to read some of those books. It will help you on your journey. So today we're going to talk about measurement. How do we measure growth? Do we even really need to? Is it really important that we measure our growth? And I start by asking a question. When we have kids, when we have children, how do we measure their growth? Or do we even bother to measure the growth? And the answer is generally yes. Because if your child is not growing, you will never be happy. You can't be happy to see that a child of 1 year is not sitting. It means that child is not progressing. So it is very, very important to measure growth. Very, very important. Going back to the example I gave of a child, I don't know how many of us did this. When our children were small, we would mark their height on a wall. Yes, we would be marking their height maybe every year. You mark again to see how far they have grown, because the measurement of growth gives you some kind of satisfaction. And when you see that last year your child was at this point on the wall, and when you measure him next year, he has come up to here, you are so excited to see that he is growing. And even what I mentioned about sitting, when your child is 3 months and they are sitting, you're so excited. And from sitting, they begin to crawl. From crawling, they stand. From standing, they begin to walk. From walking, they begin to run. There is this excitement that comes, yes, that comes with growth. Kelechi says she learned last week that she should choose her circle of friends intentionally. I love that word. Intentionally. It's not just every person is your friend. Anybody that that is your acquaintance comes into that your close circle of friends. No, you have to be intentional about it. You have to look out for people that will help you in your journey of growth. You have to look out for people that will hold your hand if possible. You have to look out for people who are maybe, like I said, that's Tuesday, people whose present look like your future. Look out for those people and intentionally put them in your circle of friends. People whose present look like your future. Yes. So going back to today's talk about measuring growth. So I said that anything you don't measure, really, I don't want to say you don't value, but somehow you don't really see the worth of it. For example, if you're not checking your child's growth, for example, not even growth of height, growth as in they are crawling, they are not crawling, they should sit. Somehow you just begin to lose sight of, you don't even realize if that child is not growing. If they're having challenges in development, you won't notice because you're not tracking. You're not keeping any record of it. I don't know if I'm making sense by what I'm saying, but truly, if going back to that child, you didn't take note of that it's 4 months and this child is not sitting. It's 5 months and this child is not sitting. You won't even bother to check if something is wrong. And God forbid that something is now wrong. By the time you notice it, it is late. So it's very, very important to track your growth. It's very, very important to measure your growth. Now, how do we begin to do this measurement of growth? The first thing is to take note of where you are. So you can't measure something when you don't have a benchmark. You don't have something to benchmark it on. We believe that children by 3 months should be sitting. Why? Because we have seen that this is what, in fact, we have several studies, we have several points of reference. Yeah, we have several points of reference. So to track your own growth also, you need to have a point of reference. What is the beginning point? What is the starting point? This journey of growth, where did you start? For example, I know I mentioned one of the habits that we should take up in order to grow is to read. And one of the ways you can track is that before you heard about all this, maybe in a period of 3 months, in fact, let me just even be in 1 whole year, you've not read one single book. Very possible. It happened to many of us. In 1 whole year, you've not read a single book. But because you have started this journey of growth, 2 months down the line, you notice that, it's 2 months. I've read 1 book. So you wouldn't notice that if before you did not have a reference point. You don't have a point from which you started, a point from which you can now take your reference and compare as you go on. So definitely very, very, very key if you want to measure growth, to take note of where you are. And this taking note is not just to have a mental note, a mental picture of this is where I am. In fact, you should write it down. You should write it down. When we talked about habits, we agreed that we would take time based on our understanding of ourselves, based on our comprehension of who we are. We should take time and figure out the habits that we need to imbibe, the ones we need to get rid of, the ones we need to add. Now, if you did that exercise, if you took time and figured out the habits that you would imbibe that would help you personally, it's expected that you wrote those things down. It's expected that you would have written, otherwise you will forget. Our brain can only contain so much. There's just so much it can hold. So it's expected that you wrote down those habits you want to imbibe, and possibly, and when you wrote down the habits, you also try to craft some kind of plan of how to get to where you want to get to. Let's go back to the book reading example. Let's say that one of the habits you agreed you needed to imbibe in this year is to read more. Like I said, maybe you've only read one book in a whole year all this while, and now you want to imbibe the habit of reading, let's say, a book a month. Every month, one book. Now, it's assumed and is expected that you would have written this down. And in writing this down, you would have further broken it down to say, since I want to read a book a month, it means that every week I should have read so many pages of the book. Every day I should have spent so much time reading so many pages of the book. It's assumed that you would have done that because that is how you get habits to stick. It's not to say, oh, I will read more books. I will start reading one book a month, and then you leave it like that. My sister, my brother, you will not read. You will not achieve that goal. You will not imbibe that habit. You will not develop that habit. But when you now break it down to smaller parts, smaller, more manageable parts. See, it's easier for me to manage that I will read 30 minutes a day, for example, than I will read one book a month. One book a month looks like that is one, vague goal, one vague thing. But if I say 30 minutes every day, and I even go ahead, because I believe I mentioned, you go ahead and do a plan for your day, prepare a schedule, a to-do list for your day. And in that your schedule for the day, in that your to-do list, you put in, let's assume, between 12 noon and 1, I will read my 2 pages of my book or whatever, targets you set. So that is a more achievable goal. That is a more achievable plan than just I will read one book a month. So, assuming you've done all this that I've said, you've agreed that this book, you want to improve your reading habit, you've decided you read one book a month, and you've gone ahead and broken down that one book a month to 20 minutes every day dedicated to reading. Now, for you to be able to measure that, for you to be able to measure it, you would have taken notes that before you did not read any book. You only read one book a year. Then from the point where you were able to break down this habit you want to imbibe, you begin to monitor. So was I able to do my 20 minutes every day? Did I achieve reading 20 minutes every single day? In a week, was I able to achieve reading 5 pages, 10 pages, of my book for the week? Before we now be able to say, yes, in a month, I read one book. You can see that breaking down your goals, your activities to smaller manageable parts helps you to achieve them easier and also makes the measurement of that growth easier. It makes it easier for you to say, oh, when I started, I could only read one book in a year, but now I am able to read one book in a month. Okay, to just do a quick recap, remember this is growth habits. Growth habits that will help us to grow in every aspect of life. This can be applied in your spiritual life. Tochukwu Oti, welcome. Wow. Ni Oti, you've not changed this your name. Okay. I was talking about being able to measure our habits. So if you had written down, this is what I want to achieve, in this period of time, and I've been able to break them down to the manageable parts, the manageable small bits, to measure that goal that becomes easier, to measure my achievement, to measure how much I have grown in a period of, like, say, 1 month, 2 months, whatever, becomes easier because we wrote them down. 1 and 2, not only did we write down what we want to achieve, we also broke it down to smaller, manageable parts. You can see that when you do this, it becomes so easy to measure how much you have grown. It becomes so easy to see what you have been able to achieve. So definitely it's very important that we put down whatever it is we are trying to achieve. Let's assume when we started this journey, you told yourself, this are the things I want to be able to do. This is where I want to see myself by the end of 2023. Excellent. Break down that goal, those things you want to achieve by the end of 2023. So what will I achieve by first quarter of 2023? Take those things you want to achieve by first quarter of 2023, break them down further. So what will I achieve by, okay, January is gone, but you could have broken it down to what will I achieve by the end of January? What will I achieve by the end of February? That which you want to achieve by the end of February, you take that once again and you break it down. What will I achieve first week of February, second week of February, third week of February, and if February has 4 weeks, fourth week, fifth week, depending on the month. These things that are broken down to weeks, you take them once again. So I'm supposed to achieve this by first week of February. It means that by the first day of February, this is what I should do. You see that when you break down your goals, your achievables like this, it becomes easier for you to measure. It becomes easier for you to monitor. Welcome, Oluchukwu. Glad to have you here. You're watching from Lagos. Okay, thank you. Welcome. Welcome, Mazi Chika. So good to have you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. So once again, this is Growth Habits. Very important that we remember that what we are talking about are growth habits. And my name is Ngozi Onwucholoba, your personal guide on the journey of growth. So I've told us the first part about measuring growth, that is being able to write it down and breaking it down to smaller units that are easier to achieve and easier to keep track of. Okay, so the next thing that makes measurement of growth easier, I think easier is the word, is that, okay, how do I want to put this now? I know how to say it in my head. I'm trying to look for how to say it for us. Is to be able, it's not just to track your progress that I want to say, because it's more than just tracking your progress. By the time you break it down monthly, weekly, daily, you are tracking your progress, because remember, you put it down somewhere, you wrote it down, and you are taking off as you're achieving it. Yes, it's to be able to do this assessment at the same time. For example, I choose every Saturday, I sit down and review what I did. See, because you have fixed it on a day, it's actually easier for you to manage than if, okay, I just remembered on Tuesday, let me track, let me check. Oh, the next week I remembered on a Thursday. That's when no. The tracking becomes, it's not intentional, and it doesn't quite achieve the purpose that you're trying to achieve, because you're now comparing apples and oranges. Because the day or the week you remembered on a Tuesday to check your progress, maybe you've only done 2 days worth of actions, or maybe even have a week plus worth of actions because you didn't remember the previous week. You have a week plus worth of actions that you're checking how far you have gone on them. And then the next week, you remembered on a Thursday. So how do you compare progress you made in a week plus with progress you made in 2 days? You can see that you are comparing apples and oranges. You are not comparing like things. So it's essential that when you want to do this assessment, it is done at the same time. Weekly, for example, you want to track your progress at the end of each week. Saturday, for example, or at the beginning of each week, Sunday, Monday. The choice is yours, but let that time be the same. The span of time, let it be the same. Every 5 days, every 3 days. That's why for like a company, you have your monthly accounts. You are not going to compare your monthly accounts with your yearly accounts. You compare year to year, month to month. That way you're comparing like items. Welcome, Lillian Onwuchiloba. I'm so glad to have you here this afternoon. Welcome to Growth Habits. Oh yes, as I told us last week, please, if you are gaining any kind of value from these our sessions, share this broadcast with someone that you think would benefit from it, and invite them next week Tuesday. Because, like I said, this journey is best done together. When you have someone that you're going on the journey of growth with, is sweeter and it's more impactful, and you actually achieve more. So if you know someone that would benefit from this, invite them. If I share, because usually I put up the flyer for it, share it with someone. Call up someone, remind them that it's 12 noon, it's time for Growth Habits. Okay, so going back to what I was talking about, having the same span of time for your measurement, for your assessment of your growth is important, so that you're comparing oranges with oranges and not apples to oranges. Okay. Yes, so that takes care of that aspect of measurement. Okay, I've talked about having specific times. Another thing about measuring your growth is that you have to be able to motivate yourself to measure your growth. Because see, if you can't motivate yourself to do these things, I can't also do it for you. I can shout, I can scream, I can do all the live sessions, I can even come to your house and personally talk to you, but if you cannot motivate yourself, this is why we talked about mindset first, after the introduction of growth. If you cannot motivate yourself, I don't know if anybody can help you. So it's very, very key and very, very important that in the process of attempting to measure your growth, you are self-motivated. You are self-motivated. Because if you're not, Saturday, let's assume that's the day you agreed to assess how far you are going. Saturday will come and go and you will not do the assessment. And even when, because I don't want us to be overly rigid. It's good to have Saturdays, for example, you assess yourself every week and you've chosen Saturday as Saturday to measure, to assess, to know how far you have gone. Welcome, Oke Odunze. I'm so glad to have you here with us today. I appreciate your coming. Thank you very much. So, like I was saying, if you have chosen that I will assess my growth every week, and you've accepted that Saturday is the most convenient time for you to do this assessment, and then for some reason a Saturday becomes very busy and you did not do it, you don't have to now beat up yourself and say, because I didn't do it on Saturday, I will no longer do this assessment. No, do the assessment on Sunday. But this will only happen if you're self-motivated. If you're not self-motivated, Saturday will come and go. Sunday, you'll be like, I've missed it now, why bother? Before you know it, Monday, Tuesday, another week is gone. So it is very important in the process of trying to measure your growth, in trying to assess if you're making progress, in trying to see if you have done anything really worth. Let me not even go too far. You need to be self-motivated. One. Another thing, in the process of measuring your growth, please, I mentioned this on one of the other sessions, celebrate the little victories. Celebrate it. Celebrate the small victories. It's not until you have read one book. We'll go back to our example of reading, because I really see reading is so important. Reading things that uplift you. Whether it's spiritual books you want to read. It's business books, read. Inspirational books, just read. I went for, let me just digress a little bit. I went for a valedictory program for a prof in Uniport, and he was talking about the need to keep your brain active, more especially when you go into retirement. And one of the things he recommended was to read. Another thing he recommended was to play games. So you have to keep your brain active. You have to. If you just slack in keeping your brain active, the brain deteriorates so fast. He gave us an example. Okay, no, it wasn't him. It was somebody else that gave the example of their uncle that when he retired, he put him to work in his company, and when he began to see that the uncle was now getting way too old to continue working in that capacity, he now stopped him from working. But he said that between that point he stopped the uncle from working, the degeneration was so rapid, unlike when he was working. He had retired before he put him to work with him. So it is extremely, I can't even overemphasize why we need to keep our brain active. That is why my examples have been hammering on reading. Please read. Read spiritual books, read self-help books, read business books, read. Keep this brain active, keep it working. It will serve you for years to come. Okay, I come back from my digression and come back to what we are talking about, which is measuring your growth. And I've told us that we have to have the right motivation. We have to be self-motivated in order to truly measure how far we have gone. We need also to celebrate the small wins, the little achievements. The example I gave about children when they are small. Have you seen how mothers, are so excited? Oh, my baby said the first word. Oh, she crawled today. Oh, she stood. Have you seen that? That is how you should celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are, or they appear, because there's really no win that's small. Truly, a win is a win. Take it. A win is a win. Take it like that. The way you would celebrate, for example, that your child is now sitting, your child is now walking. You see parents that they have evidence, they have pictures, they have video evidence of when their child took the first step, when their child sat for the first time, when their child crawled for the first time, when their child said mommy or dada, whichever one. They're tracking and they're measuring the growth of their child. That is the same way you must track and measure your own growth. They wouldn't have been able to do those tracking and those measurements if they didn't have a benchmark. They didn't have something to measure against. Remember, that was where we started. There has to be something to measure against. So take a record, take a snapshot of you today or whenever you started your journey of growth. Take a snapshot of you. Put it down somewhere. Assess yourself. I could not read any, maybe in a whole year I read one book. I found it difficult to exercise. I found it, whatever it is, take a snapshot of you at the point of starting. So that when 1 month later you do your assessment, for example, you take another snapshot, you can now have what to compare with. You have something to benchmark your progress on. Also, I think I have to stress this. While it's absolutely essential to measure, to track, to monitor your growth, please do not put yourself under any undue pressure. The way I grow cannot be the way you grow. It can't be. Don't measure your growth based on mine. Yes, you can take ideas from my growth. You can take, tidbits from my own growth, from what you see happening to me. But please, do not beat up yourself because you have not, in quotes, grown as much as I have, because you don't know where I started from. It's possible that you have actually made more progress than me, but because I started 2 steps ahead of you, I hope we're getting me, it looks like my progress is greater. But actually, looking at it objectively, considering the wins along the way, considering making the assessments of where you were and where you are now, you will see that truly you may have made more progress than I have. So don't put any undue pressure on yourself. Your only basis of measurement is yourself. It's not me, it's not any other person. It's not the people you see on social media, especially not the people you see on social media. I heard a story recently that I've always felt in all this social media presence sometimes is not really the best, because I believe that people only put their best life on social media. But I heard a story recently that convinced me that people not only put their best life, they put their fake life on social media. I heard about a couple that they have I think it's TikTok channel that I was told. And when you see their TikTok channel, it's like they are showing people their life, how they are living. If you watch their channel, from what I was told, I've not even bothered to go and check, and you meet this couple in real life, you cannot recognize. There is nothing, no similarity between the life they are showcasing to people, that this is our life, this is how we live, this is us daily. There is no similarity between that and what is really their life. So please do not benchmark your growth on anybody. No, benchmark your growth on you. I was here yesterday, I am now here today. Measure your growth on you. Take the pointers you can from maybe my experience or any other person's experience. Take the pointers, but do not beat yourself up because you think you have not achieved as much as any other person. That is why it's essential we celebrate our little victories. We celebrate our small wins. We have people that say, oh, I've been married 1,001 years. I've never had a quarrel with my husband. Are you sure? You don't know. You're not in their house. Then the day you quarrel with your husband and say, I have failed because, now people are, no, please, no. Or even this example I've been given of reading, and you see somebody saying that I read 3 books in a month, and you're like, oh my God, I've not even read one. No, please. This person telling you they're reading 3 books in a month, possibly they read the book summaries. They exist. They exist. You can get a summary of a book. Some are paid, some are free. A full summary telling you, chapter by chapter, a summary of what is in that book. And if you read that summary, basically you've read the book. So if I go ahead now and get those summaries of 3 books, and most of those summaries are like, I think the most I've seen is like 5 pages. Yeah, the one I've seen anyway. I don't know if there are others, but the highest I have seen, no, it was like 10 pages. The highest 10 pages. And the book was like, I think it was either a 300 or 400 page book. So I read the summary that's just 10 pages, which might even take me one day. And I get the gist of the book. Then I come out and say I finished this book. And in a month, I read 3 books. Because truly, with that summary, I can claim if you ask me questions on the book, I can discuss intelligently on the book. Then you, that is there. Welcome, Damian. So glad to have you. Good afternoon. Welcome. So you took time and went through the 300-page book, and it took you 1 month to read that 300-page book. You're comparing yourself to me that read 3 summaries that are 10 pages, 30 pages in all. Have you seen why you should measure your growth on you? Not on me, not on any other person. Let your yardstick of measurement be yourself. Measure you against you. Measure the you of yesterday against the you of today. Not me. Okay, so another thing that is critical, yes, to measuring your growth is to have an accountability partner. Have someone that holds you accountable. Find someone that holds you accountable. Find the person. Someone that you can tell, this is what I've agreed to do. I've agreed to do so. So you can share your monthly plan, weekly plan, daily plan. It's up to you with that person. And the job of your accountability partner is to follow you up. If you, for example, I go back to my book again, book reading, you said you're going to read a book a month. And you agreed that in the first week of the month, you should have read 5 pages. Let me just say, it might be more, but let's just use 5 pages. So the point of having an accountability partner is that the person at the end of the week can say, oh, Ngozi, did you still read the 5 pages? Were you able to read 5 pages? Or 3, or how did it go? Or even the accountability partner could be someone that will call you on Monday and say, remember, you're supposed to spend 20 minutes reading today. That is the aim of an accountability partner. And when you have an accountability partner who is really active and working for you, to measure your growth becomes so much easier, because basically they are measuring it for you. They're even tracking it for you. They're keeping a record of what you have done, what you have not done for you. So get yourself an accountability partner. This is not your coach, most probably. This is not even probably your mentor. It could be those people you choose to be your accountability partner. But generally, it's better to get someone that is more like a friend, someone that's more like at the same place you are. Someone that's probably going on the same journey you are going. It's best to have an accountability partner like that than maybe to make your mentor your accountability, because your mentor might have so many other people they are mentoring, they won't have time to track your progress with you. So get yourself an accountability partner. Get yourself an accountability partner and be an accountability partner to someone else. Don't just have one. Be an accountability partner to someone. Could be the same person. That way, you're truly both measuring and assessing your growth. It happens both ways. You're helping the person is helping you. And it also helps you to, when you have an accountability partner, it means you have to be telling that person how far you are going. You have to share your progress with that person. And when you remember that you have to tell this person, there are some things that maybe you didn't quite do. And, you still have like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you quickly, I don't know if it has ever happened to you. For example, you're supposed to read. You have not read. And you remember that by this evening, I will have a meeting with my accountability partner, and I need to give her a progress report. You will quickly read something. Yeah, so that helps you. That is how one of the ways an accountability partner helps you, and it also helps you track how far you are going. Helps you track how far you have come, how much progress you have made on this journey. Wow, so we've said a whole lot of things this afternoon. We're talking about measuring your growth. Measuring your growth. Remember, this is Growth Habits with Ngozi Onwuchiloba every Tuesday and Thursday in the month of February, where I will take you by the hand as much as is possible, since I'm not seeing you physically, and lead you on the journey of growth. I will help you with tips, tricks, especially from things that I have experienced, that will help you on your journey of growth. I'm trying not to talk too much theory, but to focus on things that I've tried myself, that I have done, and I've seen that they work. So please, if I'm giving any value to you whatsoever, if you're enjoying these live sessions, if you're gaining value, please do let me know. It helps me. It helps me because I'm also now tracking my own progress. I'm measuring my own growth as you give me the feedback, and also share it with others. Share the link of the live sessions before, after. You can share the replays with people that you think also need to hear these things. Then to conclude, I want to mention that I actually have a mentorship group that I run. Just started it this year. This year, I told myself I must move. 2023, I can't afford to be in one place. So I have an accountability mentorship group. I have a paid one, I have a free one. Yes, I have both of them. The free one I share generally. I don't have to, share there all the time. It's free. People don't appreciate free most times in this country. I have tried it. I've done free mentorship for years, and people are not ready to put in the work because their money is not in it. Okay, so I have the free one. I didn't close down the group, but I also have a paid mentorship where we have books that we read, we have assignments that we do, we have weekly meetings, either on Zoom or whatever platform we choose, where we teach, share, discuss, and all that. So if you're and also the mentorship group is a quarterly mentorship. I decided to make it quarterly because some people might feel maybe they've outgrown the group, or they might feel this is too hard for me. So after 3 months, you have the option of dropping out. I will not force anybody. I don't have time anymore to waste. Let me use that expression. So if you're not ready to go on the journey, after 3 months, please drop. We will be friends. You will continue in the free mentorship group. I will keep sharing what I can with you. But just know that you will not have the same access as someone that paid. So if you're interested in that mentorship group, the next session will start in the month of April. This first quarter, I'm not taking further. Even if people want to come, I will not even be able to, because you have been so far behind. You won't be able to meet up with where the people who are there are now. So if you're interested, I just said, let me mention this also. If you're interested in that mentorship, please just send me a message either on Facebook. If you have my number on WhatsApp, I will add you up in the month of April. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our session for today. This is Growth Habits, as I said earlier, with Ngozi Onwucholoba. Today we talked about measuring growth, the ways we can measure growth, the things that we need to do in order to measure growth, and for that measurement and assessment to benefit us. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments. If you don't have questions or what stood out to you in this session today? What is your takeaway? Because if we have these sessions and we don't take away anything, so your takeaway is not just that you write it in the comment section for me. It means that you will try within the week, within the period, to apply that thing that you have taken away from these sessions. So just let me know, what is your takeaway from the session today? What stuck with you? What things amongst all the plenty of words that I have said this afternoon stuck with you? Or you have a question to ask, you can go ahead and ask the questions. I will try and answer as much as I can to the best of my abilities. Remember that the things I'm sharing with us are basically things that I have applied in my life, and I have seen that they work. I try not to be too theoretical in the things that I'm saying. Yes, I do go back and read the things I want to talk about. I still check to see if there's any new things that have been added that maybe I didn't know about. But as much as possible, I try to keep it to what I have experienced, what I have tried, because it would be funny to recommend something to you that I've not done. It would be funny to recommend it to you. How would I know that it works? Yes, other people may have tried it and they say it works, but I like to experiment on myself first before I bring it out. Okay, yes, Tochukwu said that what her takeaway, that always benchmark your growth on yourself. Very important, so that you don't have high BP. Country hard already, my brothers and my sisters. Things are hard already. You don't have to add extra weight to yourself. Always benchmark your growth on yourself. Assess your today based on your yesterday, not based on my today, because you don't know where I'm coming from and you don't know where I'm going also. That's very important. Benchmark your growth on yourself. Benchmark it on yourself and not on any other person. Do we have any other comments, any other takeaways from today? Oh, Chisomachu, welcome. Yeah, you're coming a bit late. We are rounding up, but welcome. You can still watch the replay to get what you may have missed out in this session. Is there any other questions or any other comments from anyone else? If not, we have come to the end of the session for today. Thank you all so very much for showing up. I appreciate the fact that you show up every Tuesday and Thursday. You have options of what to do with your time, and you chose to spend your time with me. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I am grateful for each and every one of you that joins me every Tuesday and every Thursday. And for those that, watch the replays also, I am so grateful to have you, because it means that you had in mind to be here, but, maybe something happened and you couldn't join the live, and you made sure you still went back and watched the replay. Thank you all so very much. I am so grateful. Yes, Kelechi says he must have an accountability partner. Yes. Someone that holds you accountable to the goals that you have set, to the journey that you are on. Someone that holds you accountable, that's able to ask you how far. And that's even able to advise sometimes. Sometimes your accountability partner might have a different experience of something and would be able to share that, with you. Yes, get yourself an accountability partner. Find someone who probably is on the same journey as you are, at the same level as you are. Is best someone that can relate with you where you are. Okay, so if there is no other comments and there is no other questions, I want to thank us once again for joining me, and see you all next time. That's been next Tuesday, right here, Facebook Live, 12 noon is the time. Growth Habits with Ngozi Onwucholoba. Thank you so much. See you on Tuesday. Bye.